Hello again. This is Brian Copeland talking. Welcome to another edition of Copeland's Corner. Great panel of comics this week. Cathy Sorbo is with us, as is Dana Gould and Gene Pompa. Welcome, everybody.
Hello.
No
Hi.
virgins here. You've all been here before, so welcome back, I should say.
Thank you.
Okay, I always like to start with this because since we're by Zoom, people are all over the place. I'm in the Bay Area. Cathy, where are you? Down in L.A.?
No, Seattle.
You're up in Seattle. Okay. How's it up there? Is it pouring rain? Yeah.
No, it's gorgeous today. Absolutely lovely.
Okay, Dana, you were in L.A.
I am in the People's Republic of Los Angeles, yes.
The People's Republic of Los Angeles. All right, do you know, or have you driven past the place down there where all the National Guard and everybody is still embedded?
No, it's funny. I've not. My brother, who's a Fox News, just fed into him on an IV. He's like, "You okay?" I was like, "Yeah." Yeah, it's pretty good. It's it's
not a hellscape.
No, it's 2 blocks downtown.
Oh, wait, there's snipers behind you.
Yeah, exactly.
What's that red dot on your forehead?
It's like all those people that are like from war-torn Portland. It's like, yeah, we're just feeding deer here on the DMZ.
And Gene, where are you located?
Seal Beach.
Where?
Seal Beach.
I don't know Seal Beach. Where's Seal Beach?
Seal Beach is between Long Beach and Huntington.
Oh, okay.
Along the coast, Southern Cal.
Okay. Well, welcome again, everybody. So let's start with this. I got some individual questions I'm going to throw out to you. I feel like the dating game, picked out especially for you, and then you'll give us an answer. Then we'll open it up and let everybody chime in. I'm going to start with Dana. Have you heard of?
Why does Dana get to go first?
Yeah, God damn it.
Because I'm the closest to death of the four.
Well, because on my screen, he is in the lower left-hand corner. That's why, which is apropos of absolutely nothing, but I needed an excuse. Have you heard of Godwin's law? I'm assuming, which is when you invoke Hitler in an argument, you automatically lose because it is rhetorical overreach. So my question for you is this. Since Trump has effectively taken over and controls all 3 branches of government, and they bow down to him, since he's filled the most important positions in our government with loyalists and continues to do so every opportunity he gets, since he took over the arts by taking over the Kennedy Center and by clawing back NEA grants to nonprofit theaters. Theaters in the Bay Area are falling like dominoes because they'd been sent the money and promised the money, it had been approved, and they did base their budgets and productions on based upon what they were supposed to be getting from the NEA, and now it's yanked. So now they've got nothing. He's built concentration camps. He's turned ICE into a mass Gestapo. I don't know what other word to use to describe it. Corporate media and tech companies are now bowing down to him and paying extortion money and giving them what they want. You got a Trump loyalist now who's going to be in charge of CBS News, which just blows my mind. The network of Cronkite and of Edward R. Murrow. And he's using the military against his country's own citizens. These are all things that Hitler did. So that being the case, in your opinion, keeping Godwin's law in mind, is it fair or is it overreach to make that comparison right now?
Could you repeat the question? I'm kidding.
Yes.
Yes. My personal opinion and political expediency clash. But I think until he systematically executes 6 million people, you have to hold off, because I think Godwin's law is true. I think when you make the comparison, you shut down the point of arguing, which is the point is to when you have a difference of opinion with someone, and your goal is to change their opinion, you must first acknowledge something that you both agree on to open the door to their listening to you. And then you can make your point and you'll be heard more than, well, you're an idiot and here's why, in which case you're just talking past each other. That's the entirety of social media. But we do that on social media because it's a business model. It's the world of conflict entrepreneurs. I think Stalin is a very appropriate analogy to make, because Hitler is a singular evil. And when you name check him, you do shut down any chance of an open debate. And I do think that Trump has yet to reach that level of specific hideousness. If we find out that these alligator Alcatraz places are throwing people into ovens, then yeah, I think it's a time to make that analogy. But there's one thing that Hitler did that people don't give him credit for. One good thing that Hitler did.
Here it comes.
He killed Hitler.
Let me ask you this. Are you saying, therefore, that unless and until, there's a Holocaust, and he's killed millions of people, that there is no comparison? Even though he's done everything to this point.
I don't think that the comparison is going to do you any good. I think you can make the comparison that he's absolutely doing everything that Hitler did prior to the discovery of the genocide. But if your point is to alert people to the danger in the hopes of changing their mind, I don't think it's going to do you any good.
It's not going to help.
It's like if you're in an argument with somebody and you start with, well, you're an asshole. So now listen to me. Listen to reason here, asshole. It's just like.
No, that's called marriage.
Yeah. I didn't want to make that analogy.
Like that. All right, Cathy, any thoughts?
Well, didn't Vance kind of call him Hitlery? His vice president called him Hitler-esque
before he, drank the Kool-Aid. Back when he was just the author of a second-rate book that was way overrated.
Yeah, when he was just a normal dipshit.
Yeah, it's true. I have a friend who's a political consultant who was a former Republican who said he was excommunicated from the Republican Party for failing to renounce algebra. And but there was a time when and he ran John McCain against George Bush in 2000. My friend Mike Murphy is his name. He coined the phrase "straight talk express." I mean, he's a Republican, but he's a sane Republican.
Yeah.
He said that J.D. Vance and he had a meeting once. Vance thinking about running for Senate as an anti-Trump Republican, and then realized that the way to win was to go over. And it just, he's actually more dangerous because he doesn't, like Stephen Miller believes in that other human beings are vermin. J.D. Vance doesn't believe in anything.
No, J.D. Vance.
And I don't know which one is more dangerous.
I know. Did J.D. Vance backpedal on that at all?
Did he walk it back? I have not heard that he's walked it back. Then maybe he hasn't. I mean, I can't believe that some reporter somewhere has to stuck a mic in his face and ask him about.
Oh, no, they did during the election, and I think he just said, like, I didn't know as much. I really believe in him now. It's all Peter Thiel. It basically pays his way, I don't know if Trump. I think that Trump did not want him because of that, but Thiel and Donald Trump Jr. Made the case.
All right, Gene, anything you want to chime in on?
I agree with everything they said.
Okay, well, that's easy.
No,
that's not so easy.
Dana's point,
the other side of the coin, Pompa has joined the chat.
Yes, he'll copy off of Dana and Cathy's paper for the rest of the podcast.
No, to Dana's point, I never looked at it from that perspective. It's true. Like everything is kind of in place except for the genocide of 6 million humans. Now, I don't know if that's ever going to transpire. I would hope it wouldn't.
Oh, Lord, I hope.
Heaven forbid. But there are a lot of parallels. This is the first I've heard that term, Godwin's law. It's kind of scary because it's such an established a treatment of humans that there's actually like a saying for it, or whatever, a name for it. I never even heard of that. Godwin's law. And it's when someone goes, oh, you're acting like a Nazi. But sometimes they toss that around, willy-nilly, and it's not really applicable. They're just like Dana said, they're just trying to win an argument, or they're trying to hurl an insult.
It's an internet era term. the Godwin's law thing, because
Oh,
I guess
okay.
where it came from is watching debates on the internet, where if a debate goes on long enough, sooner or later somebody will make a Hitler or a Nazi comparison, and that's why he came out. I don't know who Godwin is, but that according to chat, that's where it came from.
Yeah.
So I was curious
Yeah.
about the origin of it
Just
myself.
vitriol everywhere. Even I remember when Twitter was fun.
Remember?
Yeah, and people would go on there and tell jokes and do bits, and there'd be like a slight perspective of politics, but it wasn't overwhelming and overbearing. And now it's just back and forth, just, well, fuck you too, like it's really just vicious.
I don't go on anymore. I still have my account, but I don't use it.
Oh, I'm
But
not
there's
on Twitter anymore either. Yeah, once Trump bought it, or whoever bought it, was it Elon Musk?
It was
bought
Elon
it?
Musk. Yeah,
Yeah.
he changed it in the name of
and
free speech.
Yeah, and I think he may have pulled my account. And I'm like, well, I'm not signing back up to your bullshit. I'm not a big fan of Elon Musk.
It is
I like his cars.
Yeah.
there is a massive, this is the culmination of the right-wing media machine that we have now, is the culmination of a 55-year long game plan. To their credit, they recognized this in the 70s and started to put these building blocks into place. And now we're dealing with it, and we've been caught really flat-footed. In terms of and they have an amazing, they do an amazing job of working the refs. Barry, is it Weiss? Barry Weiss's appointment to the head of CBS. It's a great example of that. It's a great example of that. That they work the refs, because it's not the both sidesism is a canard. It's not both sides. And
it's in tandem with Allison's taking over Paramount.
Yeah. But this goes back to
it's the same thing. It's Paramount and CBS. I mean, it's the same deal.
Yeah. And everything it goes back to to Rush Limbaugh and Wally George, and they realize that every day is a catastrophe. Whether it's he wore a beige suit, or whatever happened was a catastrophe. And then people like Mark Zuckerberg realized that conflict drives numbers. I'm on Threads, and I don't go on it, but I follow people on Threads that I like, but now my feed on Threads is not what they're posting. My feed on Threads is their response to somebody in a fight with somebody else. So it's my feed is just like, get in on this fight, get in on this fight, get in on this fight. And it's somebody coined the phrase. I heard it from Matt Bronger. I don't know if he coined it, but it's conflict entrepreneurs. They're just like, I'm going to make you fight and bring you in here. I'm going to fill your feed with stuff you disagree with so you can get angry.
I'm the same as you. I'm on Threads as well, and I very rarely post. Very rarely post on Threads. I post on Facebook a lot, but I think the way it's set up is if you post on Facebook, it goes to Threads and it goes to Instagram. Like
and I do, and I'm also on Blue Sky, but I find Blue Sky also somewhat insufferable in the sense of, knock knock. What about the homeless? Telling a joke.
There is a junior high school element to it also, where I'll see some friends go and they'll show like whatever that's called, a photo shot, what's that thing, screenshot, and they'll say, look what this person said to me, like, and you're like, well, that's between you guys. Like, trying to get all these people to judge. Like, no, like Mean Girls, It's just like, no, why do I got to participate in the, conversation you had with someone that you lost, or they said something you disagreed with? Like, you're trying to make them seem like this, public enemy number one.
Isn't it amazing how brave people have become since they could say whatever they want out into the world from their mother's basement, and nobody knows their name, nobody knows their face, nobody knows how to get a hold of them. And when you talk to these people face to face, it's a whole different conversation.
Yeah, it's true. And that's part of the aspect of social media it's like you're wearing a mask. It's like people are a lot crazier when people go a lot nuttier when their identity is hidden, or when, you're a lot braver in your car than you are on the street.
Right.
Or when you get to the stoplight.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
And they're following you.
And also,
I don't know when the end of it is. I don't know.
You get a natural amount of response, whereby, like before social media, you could like call up a friend and go, God, I'm feeling like horrible. I'm having a hard time, and this person's like in my life messing me up. And maybe you get like a response. But now if you like post it on Facebook, I'm so horrible, you get like 50, 60 responses. That's unnatural.
And there's like a boy who cried wolf element to it sometimes, because I'll have some friends on Facebook. They're not like life friends, but Facebook friends.
Yeah.
Right? But they seem to be decent people. But every other day they have a crisis. You know, like when you first see it initially, like, oh no, this too shall pass. You give them some sort of, cliche.
Virtual pat on the back.
Yeah. Well, but then every other day they have another, you're like, okay, you know what? You got to handle your own shit.
I don't care about your dog.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I just think that we're not supposed to have access to this much information. I don't. In the olden days, before the internet, you'd get the newspaper in the morning, and you'd read the newspaper, and then you'd go about the day. And at night, the TV news was on for an hour. You didn't keep the paper with you all day, and it updated every 5 minutes with new stories, and you'd keep reading it. And then the news wasn't on 24 hours. We're not supposed to have this much information in our head. And I do find that, when I limit it and I actively look at other stuff, it affects my mood. Like you can, I look for something online and I get into threads and it'll be 25 minutes. I'm like, I
know you go down the rabbit hole. You totally go down the rabbit hole.
It's dangerous. And it's also just, human nature. It seems that every technological advance is like giving a flamethrower to a chimp and like, oh my God, it turned out poorly. When the internet came on, it would be, now every human being is going to have the breadth and expanse of all human knowledge at their fingertips. And like 4 months later, it's like, what's cake farts?
And it's opinion news. It's not like when I was a youngster, sometimes it would tilt a little right, a little left, but the country was somewhat centrist. Even with Reagan, he got along with Tip O'Neill.
That's right.
And Reagan would be considered kind of a moderate now. He wouldn't be considered an extremist or a neocon.
And it was Newt Gingrich that started that. It was not both sides.
Absolutely.
Newt Gingrich in response to Bill Clinton. And it was the beginning of this Heritage Foundation, Christian nationalist takeover of our culture.
And John Birch, would you say, is in the same category?
Well, Birch is long before.
They started funding politicians down bill, as opposed, the difference between these guys and the reason in the American Green Party, which now has been, taken over by Russian money, but it was always, we're going to run somebody for president and nothing else. And these guys, no, we're going to start at school boards and state senators and local Congress, and we're going to build it from the ground up. And that's why it took 50 years, but it worked.
It did.
And they went from I'm right, you're wrong to I'm right, you're evil. And that was the beginning of it.
Well, I'll tell you, you mentioned Newt Gingrich, and that's where everything changed. But it was Newt Gingrich in concert with Rush Limbaugh.
Yeah,
they both began to rise at the same time. And in fact, after the Republicans took over the House of Representatives, and what was that, 94, I guess?
Yeah, it was
it was Clinton's first midterms. It got wiped out, and they lost Congress for the first time in 40 years. They lost the House.
Right.
Limbaugh came and spoke. Limbaugh came and they had some big, right-wing, ball. I don't know what you do at a right-wing ball, but that's what they had, and or breakfast or something. And he spoke, but that was it. I'll tell you where it really changed. You're talking about America seeming more centrist, like when we were kids, for example. I hate when we were kids because it makes us sound older, but it's true. And that was
we're all incredibly old.
Yes, we're all
except for me. I just turned 36 on Facebook.
Me too.
Right. Hang on, I'm gonna take my makeup off.
Oh wow, you look good.
Well, there was the equal time law, And one wants to, that wasn't a law, it was a rule. And the equal time rule was that, news is supposed to be impartial. It was considered to be a public service, something you had to do as a condition of keeping your license. That was one of the things, your broadcast license. But the equal time was if you put on a commentator who was, pro this, then you also had to, in fairness, put on a commentator on the other side. And one of the big places it changed was when Pat Paulson ran for president on the Smothers Brothers, because there were questions about equal time, about how are you going to give equal.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
During the Nixon administration, right?
No, it was later than that.
That was
right before
it was early 80s, I think, is when it changed. I think it was early 80s, believe it or not, when it changed.
Well, the other thing that happened under Reagan was that the news departments became profit centers.
That's right.
That was the beginning of the end.
Yeah, well, I worked in, I didn't do news. I've had parts on a news station, doing the celebrity interviews and all that kind of stuff on a news program, and that's exactly it. I mean, that's the moneymaker for what was independent. How many independent stations are left? I mean, there aren't many little independent stations like, the ones that we'd come home after school and Gilligan's Island would be on at 4:00.
Yeah, Channel 13 or whatever.
Yeah, we see, we all know Channel 44.
There's only like 3 of them, Channel 9.
I run a nonprofit. It wasn't my intention. It's just how my career worked out.
I highly doubt that.
Mine
all things being equal, even though they're not, one of the guys who I'm a big fan of, but he kind of fanned the flames also, was Ted Turner. When Ted Turner created CNN, he kind of had a monopoly on having this perspective that was fairly liberal and progressive at the time, when he called anti-abortionist bozos and stuff, which I didn't disagree with. But he got all this flack. And then, because of CNN dominating it at the time, that's when, whatever that prick's name from Australia, Rupert Murdoch jumped in and goes, okay, well, I'm going to, shoehorn in my conservative perspective in the same vein, because he was, he had the money to do it. And now he had Fox News and CNN. And so then it wasn't really balanced, because it was all vitriol.
No.
Like, it wasn't like,
right.
So they just both hated each other. But in all fairness, Ted Turner did kind of start an opinion-based news organization.
See, I would disagree with that, because back in the early days anyway, when he first started CNN was balanced hard news. Now, where the opinionated stuff came in was, remember Crossfire?
Of course, yeah.
Crossfire, actually, that Jon Stewart brought down.
Yes, he did.
With Tucker Carlson. Remember that?
Yeah.
I saw that live.
Yeah, I did too. And that was the beginning. I mean, that's when they saw just people screaming at each other. People watch that. As the old saying goes, nobody ever ran out of a bar to watch two guys get along in the parking lot.
No, that's great. That's an old saying.
How they shake hands.
Depends on how you define getting along, I guess.
Yeah, no kidding.
Let's bring Cathy in. Your shot in the hot seat. This week, the Supreme Court turned down. The U.S. Supreme Court turned down Ghislaine Maxwell's appeal of her 20-year federal prison sentence for sex trafficking children with and for Jeffrey Epstein. So now the only chance she has of getting out of jail is if Trump pardons her. And Trump was asked, and I don't know if you saw the press conference he did, I guess it was yesterday, when they asked him about Ghislaine Maxwell and if he pardoned her, and he goes, who? I haven't heard that name in a long time. Like, stop it.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, he actually said that. I haven't heard that name. Really? What happened?
Can you believe that? He is shitting himself so much about this, he can't even lie right? He can't even fake a lie now. He's like, I mean, Ghislaine is in like yoga prison, holding all the cards now.
Cathy,
all right. So do you think that he'll do it? I mean, what does your gut tell you? Do you think he'll pardon her? And if he does pardon her, what do you think do you think there's going to be blowback? Do you think there's going to be backlash? What do you think happens?
Honestly, I just can't even imagine what the hell's going to happen. I know he wants to. I feel like he really, really wants to pardon her because, I mean, she's got his ball sack as shriveled and orange as it might be. She's got it and he knows it. However, I mean, there's a lot of dissent within Republicans about this. Even Laura Loomer saying don't do it. Even Laura Loomer.
Yeah.
There is a part of Trump also, because he's so Teflon to his followers. I think eventually, if the Epstein files are out in all their clarity and transparency, and he's clearly guilty, he'll overcome it, just like he did the other shit. Like his followers are so fucking insane. They'll be like, okay, so he was younger than when he was with those teenage girls or those, you know what I mean? And
we all make mistakes. We all make mistakes.
I mean, nobody can slip.
That's the bullshit.
Nobody. These are the two things that are going on. There's a reason that they refused to swear in this new congressperson from wherever she was elected.
It's from Arizona. It's Adelina Grijalva.
Yeah, because she's the vote that will tip the discharge position.
That's right.
To have them release it. And there is talk. I think Adam Parkhouse said that it's right on the precipice, and there are about 100 Republican congressmen in swing districts that would have to turn on him if it's that blatant. Now, what Gene said is correct. There will be people that he could kill somebody in Fifth Avenue and they don't care. And they'll just say they just have this cognitive dissonance that it's fake, it's AI, it's not real.
It's a joke.
Yeah. And it won't matter, but not everybody will do that. And it is a slow erosion. I think if it went to the point that he would have to step down from the presidency, he wouldn't pardon her because he doesn't care about anyone else. If it would somehow benefit him, he would pardon her, but I don't know if it helps him. I think it all depends on, is there any way that benefits him?
Well, I'll tell you, the only thing that benefits him is for him to have her knocked off in prison. That ends,
But is there anything that she can say that will countermand? But I mean, that's in the files. I mean, if it's all in the files, if she's just, because again, whatever she says, people are going to believe it or not. I don't, if she says he never did anything,
she might have other stuff tucked away.
Yeah.
Well, but here's the thing too, is that she's a liar. And she perjured herself when she was on trial. So, even if she speaks, as you said, who can believe anything that comes out of her mouth, because you don't know. Yeah. So, but I am wondering, I am curious about that, if the files come out. And apparently there were, and I'm not making this number up if you haven't heard it, apparently 1,000 FBI agents whose job it was to go through the files and to try to scrub his name. Yeah. Or redact his name. They needed 1,000. Yeah. How many times has he mentioned? And Ghislaine Maxwell, I haven't heard the name in a long time. Who?
What Cathy said is right. What Cathy said is right. It's like, it's the only thing in which he's off his game. Mm-hmm. He does have you have to not admire, but you have to acknowledge his feral intelligence in terms of communication and branding. And it's the only thing. And you can see these late night tweets, stop talking about the Epstein. You can see he is off his game. What I'm amazed at is why he has no shame. He's incapable of it. Right. Absolutely. What is it in this that activates him so much?
Because he's been accused of sexual assault before and adjudicated in civil court on sexual assault charges before. There are a couple of women who say that he raped them.
Oh, they all liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they were all
so why is it this? What is it about this?
Because you know what? It's something about pedophilia because everybody's got a kid. Everybody was a kid. Everybody's got a niece or a nephew. There's that's why after all the crap that he's pulled, and he can malign, Mexicans and African Americans and women and do all these terrible things, separate Mexican kids from their parents, which he's still doing right now in Chicago. With the raid they had on that apartment complex with Black Hawk helicopters.
Yeah, they rappelled down from a fucking Black Hawk.
And zip tied, kids. He can do all that stuff, but there's something in me that is visceral that comes out, when you talk about doing things to children. And these weren't children. They were legally, they were children. They were young women, but still 16, 17 years old. Those are kids. So it is, by definition of law, pedophilia. So there's just something about it that's a bridge too far, even for most of the craziest MAGAs.
I also think that the files contain, in addition to, I think a lot of very wealthy people and powerful people are in those files. Mm-hmm. And Trump has bragged about being their protector. Don't worry, you're fine. I'm going to make sure this stuff never gets out. And I think it's that humiliation of letting down his billionaire buddies that feeds into it a lot.
Yeah, and also bringing up Laura Loomer again, how she was like, "Don't do it, don't do it." I think it's self-preservation at this point, because she knows that if he were to pardon Ghislaine, all hell would break loose.
Yeah.
Would just kind of crumble the Jenga,
Yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah, I was going to say, I would hope so, but I mean,
I think it's more, I think it's, he's going to die. It's death of 1,000 cuts. I don't, for a long time we thought, well, this is it. This is it. Yeah. This is it.
Exactly.
Got COVID. I'm like, woohoo!
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it's the Grim Reaper with his slow, inevitable deterioration, or I just can't, or it's just like a more slow withering of power. It's what they say, like how you go bankrupt. You go bankrupt very slowly and then all at once.
Well, the thing that I wonder most about,
he had the good fortune of, normally if you are heard on a hot mic, you grab married women by the pussy, or you grab women by the pussy.
Yeah,
that would have been the end all. Mm-hmm. And he looked like he was going to acquiesce to that. Like, all right, you got to step out now. You can't do that. And then Steve Bannon was one that goes, no, fuck that noise. Let's just push through it. We'll just push through it. It'll work. And sure enough, his constituency was like, whatever he had at the time, because he was a first timer, they're like, no, you can still win this.
Yeah, they don't care.
And so at that point, he realized, oh man, I can get away with pretty much anything if that's the case.
Yes, yes.
And I prevailed.
I mean, it's just, I remember when Gary Hart got kicked out. A picture of a woman sitting on his lap in a bathing suit in front of a boat called Monkey Business.
Right, yeah.
That was it. That was the end of him.
Well, it's because Gary Hart was a politician, and Trump's constituency sees him as not a politician, and that he is there to destroy a system that has screwed them. And there's a lot of Rorschach in it. There's a lot of people see in him what they want to see in him. And, the middle class and the working class of this country has been hollowed out. It goes back to, the fact that nobody went to jail for what happened in 2008 in the stock market. Nobody. And there's a lot of anger. The problem is they picked the wrong Tribune. He doesn't care, but they just project onto him what they want. So it for a lot of people, he could kill somebody on the street, and they don't care, because
that is a brilliant analysis. The Rorschach element.
Yeah.
And
it would be considered justifiable, right? Like he would find a way to create justification for killing someone.
Well, it's just like, I did it for freedom.
Yeah.
And Supreme Court says he can do it now.
Yeah.
That's the thing
Did it
that's
for
scary.
America.
As long as he's president, he can do it. Okay, Gene, you're up. Something a little pop culture for you.
All right.
You a James Bond fan?
Yeah, some of the earlier ones. Yes.
Yeah, they were the good one, the Connery one.
I like,
even if you don't like
Roger
James Bond,
Moore and Sean Connery. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to call Roger Moore the Dig Sergeant James Bond. He wasn't the real James Bond.
That's amazing.
Okay, so Amazon has creative control of James Bond now. Barbara Broccoli, whose father Cubby Broccoli began the franchise, and when he died, she took it over, sold it. I think she still retains some profit participations.
Wait, what was her name? Was it
Barbara Broccoli?
Oh, I thought Fleming owned it.
No, Fleming created it.
Okay.
Fleming was the creator. And by the way, just an aside, that yes, broccoli the vegetable was invented by that family.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know it either. I didn't know it either until recently. So she, everybody who's a Bond fan now is kind of shaking their heads because of the fact that she let Amazon have it, and she said the reason that initially because it took a long time, which is why it's been so long since it's been a Bond film, is the reason it took so long to make a deal was she was in a meeting with all these 20-something executives who kept calling James Bond content.
Yeah.
So
wow.
she was like, I know. Instead of like, we grew up with it's a movie it's an event when a Bond film comes out. All right. So last week, artwork for the franchise was posted on Prime Video UK, on the Prime Video UK website, in which across each film image there was a gun that had previously been displayed. Every Bond poster's got him holding the gun, the Walther PPK and the whole thing. Well, they airbrushed them all out. They put them all up and they airbrushed them all out with no explanation. And of course, people noticed because it looked weird just to see somebody's hand.
He's going to sock you in the stomach.
Like that,
pull your hair or something.
So there was just outrage all over the internet and everything else, and Bond fans were calling it cultural vandalism. So Amazon quietly put it back. They quietly pulled that artwork and put the traditional artwork with the guns in it back.
Yeah,
I remember about maybe 20 years ago, 15 or 20 years ago, Drew Barrymore got Steven Spielberg to release an edition of
Charlie's
E.T.
Angels?
No.
Oh.
Actually, but of E.T. where like the soldiers don't have guns who are coming to take E.T. away, and like somehow digitally remove the guns or get something from there because of the fact that it's glorifying. And Amazon has not issued a statement as to why they even did this, but this idea of glorifying guns. So the question is this. You think Amazon did anything wrong in light of the fact that nobody in the UK, which is where they posted it, was Amazon Prime UK? From what I understand, not many people carry guns like here in America, or was this just PC run amok? And do you think that in any way this is indicative of the kind of shenanigans we can expect with Amazon now in charge of the franchise?
I don't. That's a loaded question. No pun intended, but I think what it is.
Are you sure?
Because it's a great pun. It really is. I was at the bottom.
He's okay. So Britain really doesn't have guns, right? But he's an international super spy, so it's a different perspective. He's supposed to have a gun. And also he knows some martial arts and he knows how to hook up with beautiful women that are his nemesis. He's like a Superman, but without being able to fly, right? So he's a fictional character. He's supposed to have the gun. Doesn't mean you're advocating guns or the irresponsibility of using a gun. It's a weird thing. People think it's mutually exclusive. If someone's a gun owner, but they're also pro common sense gun regulation, and they still go, oh, they want to take away our guns. No, they don't. It's just a stupid notion. It's like saying because you have stop signs up, oh, they're trying to take our cars. No, it's eradicate.
If you run it and you don't pay the ticket, they will come and take your car. Yes,
that's pretty brilliant. That's pretty brilliant, man.
The use of forgive me, they're not trying to eradicate injuries and murder by guns, but it does decrease it. Same with like a stop sign or a traffic light. It decreases accidents. They don't stop, but they're cut down substantially. It's just a real like knee-jerk reaction to anything that has a gun in it. I fired off 12 gauge Mossberg back when I was a kid and killed some rabbits, jackrabbits out in Joshua Tree. I didn't know what I was doing. You know, it was my best friend's dad who was a gun enthusiast. Now I wouldn't do it, of course, but you know, I was like 13, 14, and I was eager to learn how to do it for no reason except where it seemed exciting. But it doesn't mean I'm going to walk around with this, you know, Mossberg when I go to Target and get some get some Visine. Like it's a peculiar thing. I think first of all, it's like you open up the argument to gun control or lack of, and not to sound, you know, corny, but sometimes, you know, I don't have a problem with people having guns, especially if they're empty nesters and they have it somewhere where they have access and it's safe and no one else can have access to it. I mean, we live in very precarious times. So I think it's silly, just the notion, but that's the way they got to push the agenda is, oh, they want to have these gun laws. They want to take your guns. It's absurd. So, you know, you're going to take it out of when you would watch Warner Brothers cartoons. I guess we are kind of old, except for Cathy, but they would put the finger in the gun at the end and it would blow up in the person's face. You know? Yeah. That's how I looked at guns when I was younger.
All right, let me go back to Bob for a second. So you think Amazon's going to mess it up? I mean, they're talking about spin-offs, like having a Pennyworth.
They do an animated version of 007 and
the Pennyworth was Alfred. That was Alfred. Well, a money penny spin-off series. Like, we care what his secretary does when she's not in office.
I never heard that.
Well, yeah, that's one of the things that they, in theory, that they can do is they can spin off other characters. They feel like that, like the franchise has been underutilized. There's a lot more they can do with it, you know. So I think they're going to mess it up.
Well, wait, so they have ownership of it?
Yes.
They got the licensing fees. Yes. They got everything.
Yeah, the Broccoli's, it's Eon Productions, which stands for Everything or Nothing. And they sold that.
They choose the next bond?
It's out of the bond. Yeah, Barbara Broccoli, who was Cubby Broccoli's daughter, has been running the franchise for a long time. And,
for years.
And they've done a really great job. And they have since sold it to Amazon. It's now controlled it. And I think that Amazon... I'm heartened by the fact that it's a tricky thing because it is an anachronism. The character is very much set in 1958. He's Don Draper. He's from another time.
Yeah. He has that swag and everything.
And I actually really thought they did a great job updating it with the Daniel Craig series.
But there was a blowback. There was a major blowback.
There was always a blowback. There was a blowback when they replaced, you know, it's like there's always there's a blowback with Daniel Craig because he was blonde, and there was a blowback. There's always a blowback.
Drive a stick when he got hired. He couldn't drive a stick.
Social media blowback.
There's always a blowback.
It was non-existent when they came out with Sean Connery and
the director that they've chosen for the new movie is Denis Villeneuve, who's a great director. Did Dune.
Really?
Yeah, and so that's heartening.
Yeah,
and everything else seems to be clumsy and flat-footed because this is a company that they don't have any sense of I sound smarter than I do about this. My very good friend Mark Altman wrote the book Nobody Does It Better, which is the oral history of the James Bond franchise.
Oh, really?
So he's really steeped in it, and they don't have any institutional knowledge. They don't have any sense of the history of the franchise and what it is. They see it as content. How do we break this up and split it up?
Monetize it?
Yeah, in the way that Disney, you know, oversaturated the market with Star Wars content, and people just went, stop it. They're going to try to do it. I don't know if they'll succeed because they don't know what they have. They do things like this. You know, a gun is his hand. Every poster for every movie, he's holding a gun. The movies start with down the sight of a gun.
Of a gun, that's right.
He is a gun. That's what his job is. He's licensed to kill. He is a gun. So it's one of those things where what they risk doing when J.J. Abrams took over the Star Trek, when Paramount brought J.J. Abrams in to redirect the Star Trek franchise, what they did was he took the Star Trek out of Star Trek and made a movie for no one.
There you go.
It didn't appeal to Star Trek fans, and people that weren't Star Trek fans didn't want to see it because they weren't Star Trek fans. And that's what they run the risk of doing here. If you take the gun away from him and make him, if you take away everything that's appealing about the character, it's going to be a movie for nobody.
Okay, what about let's bring Cathy into the conversation. I'm going to ask you about.
No,
I don't know how. Yeah, you're right. Now we're talking Bond. Let the boys talk. No, I'm assuming my daughter's a Bond fan. I don't know. Are you a Bond fan?
Hell
or
yeah.
Do you not care? Are you? All right. So how do you feel about the sexism? That's the part that I always had trouble with my.
I think it's awesome.
Do you? The pussy galore and all of this stuff.
Pussy galore.
Honestly, it's just.
Right, I forgot about that.
It's like just a time capsule, of the era. It's like, I don't know what Amazon's going to do, license to hurt.
License to hurt my feelings.
I saw the ads that
license to misgender.
The ads look like Gucci ads, they're quite beautiful, but gunless. It's like Robin Hood lobbing water balloons. It doesn't have this.
So dumb.
And you're right. It's like James Bond and the gun are one thing. It's like man machine. And that's it.
It could go that way where it's also very domestic. They decide, hey, we should have him come home to his 4 kids and his wife.
Yeah.
Well, that was and that was the thing. And that was the thing about the last Bond film that I really hated, which is, where the whole point of that character is he's a sociopath.
Yeah.
The reason he lives the way he does with the tuxedos and the champagne is because he can't feel anything, and he's going out of his way to feel anything because he's a sociopath.
He's like an older Craig Kilborn.
But kind of, that's he is Don Draper. He is Don Draper.
Mm-hmm.
He is Don Draper, and that's the whole point of the character. And I absolutely think that there's a way to make that character fit with the modern era, but it's going to take somebody smart. And when you get into and what they're trying to do is please everybody, and that's not smart.
No, you can't do that with anything.
Yeah,
you can't do that with anything.
You have to know what you own and make what you and do that. But that's not the current business ethos. The only amount of money worth going after now is everything, all of it. The only audience worth getting is everyone. That's why, people on TikTok that have a dog in the sink and bites the bubbles, it's like, give them everything. Netflix just gave them 3 of their buildings. It's everything is vanilla ice cream and macaroni and cheese.
How do you feel about what Leno said maybe a month or 2 ago? That's sort of along those same lines, that whole please everybody thing, when he was talking about the late night hosts, now Fallon and Kimmel, of course, and Colbert, being partisan, and automatically you're going to lose a part of the audience. So why would you want to lose half of your audience? So why not? The things that he did was he said he tried to, include everybody. So the jokes were jokes that everybody would like. And it's like, we all remember when Leno was the guy, when he was the one, we were all, those of us who didn't know him were quoting jokes that he was doing in clubs when he was working stuff out that would, make the rounds about, here what Leno said. He said this, and when he filled in for Carson, he was so edgy. And then once he took over the show, it just turned in, he was number 1 for a billion years, but it was just pablum. It seems like to me. So
he was somewhat tone deaf, also, though. I mean, culturally, he would do the dancing
Eaters
and some other stuff, and you're like, how? And just some of the jargon, the banter he would have with the first band leader. It wasn't Kevin Eubanks, who's very gregarious and easygoing. It was Branford Marsalis.
Yeah,
that's right,
Branford
Branford
Marsalis.
Marsalis.
Yeah, and he would speak to him in the beginning, like in black voice, like he'd go, "Hey, Branford," like, and it was so cringe.
Wow. So what do you think of that idea that it is a mistake if you're hosting a show like an entertainment show to have a point of view because of the fact that you're going to alienate people, so you should try to please everyone?
Well, but the point of view is to attack the people that are in power, and if the people that are in power are Republicans and Donald Trump, you attack Republicans and Donald Trump. That whole both sides thing is a canard, and that started with the CNNs needing to fill 24 hours. It's like there's been a terrible roller coaster crash, and now with the pro roller coaster crash opinion, no, I don't need to hear that. But Jay, when he took over the show, he wanted to be Bob Hope. He wanted to appeal to everybody, but he went after Bob's audience, and he should have gone after his.
You worked with Bob Hope before, right, Mr. Dana?
And Jay Leno.
And when you worked with Bob Hope, you said he drank someone's blood, and then he came out and he was re-energized.
Well, yeah, it was a young child, and he had a stainless steel straw that he plunged into his heart. And he called it his spirit box. Hey, Jamie, spirit box.
What was he like? Because I grew up a Hope fan, believe it or not, and but I've read some not so nice stories about what he was like to work for or work with.
Well, I worked with him at the very end of his career, and I would describe him as a disdain-filled marionette.
Yeah, it was Young Comic Special.
I mean, the poor guy. I think the poor guy was like 92 years old, and he must have. I felt bad for him because having to deal with me was like spending the day with a crow. Just,
he's like Robotron Man.
It was a stand-up special on NBC, and I did stand-up, and we did a commercial together and like a dumb sketch, and but he was, he should have just been in Palm Springs.
Is that the Peanuts?
Yeah, that's the story. We did a commercial together, and I had to put my arm around him, and it was like holding a tube sock full of light bulbs.
Yeah. I was mentioning on the podcast, by the way, Dana, it was either last week or 2 weeks ago, you once said the most cold-blooded thing I've ever heard anybody say on the stage, ever. There was a workout night at Cobb's. This is years ago, what Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday were workout nights. And I don't know what brought this on. And if you remember the line, you go ahead and say it, it was about David Brenner.
Uh-huh.
Do you remember the joke?
No, but I know my opinion of Mr. Brenner.
Here's what you said.
Okay.
You said David Brenner is about as funny as a dead child's toy box.
Yes.
When the parents get home from the funeral.
Yes, and that's a quote of my father's. That's about as funny as a dead baby's toy box on the way home from the funeral. Yeah, that was. I'm looking for a photo of Bob looking at me like I'm something on his shoe, which I have somewhere in my phone.
Well, I heard a story about him that after he lost his NBC
That's,
contract,
by the way, not the worst thing I've said in my life. I've said far worse.
That's the worst thing I've ever heard on a stage.
I'll tell you if we have a minute, I'll tell you the worst thing I've ever said. And I actually had to write like 7 letters of apology and send flowers to people. I was on a sitcom and we had a makeup artist, this flamboyant guy. He was a drag queen. He was great. And we went in the morning, and he had said that his grandmother died over the weekend, but he seemed kind of flip about it. He didn't really seem to be, he was just kind of like, yeah, she died. Like, okay, interesting. And then later in the day, we're all on the set, and he came out and he was visibly upset. And I thought that, oh gosh, it finally hit him. And he was visibly upset because he said that he just heard that Michael Hutchence had died from In Excess. And then he said, yeah, and I heard it was suicide. And I said, without thinking, it was just like when you watch words come out of your mouth and like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. I said, yeah, I heard he beat himself to death with your grandmother. And that caused a big problem.
Oh my God.
Sorry, Desmond.
what an uptight guy he is. That's such a lighthearted thing to say.
I tighten it up.
I heard a Hope story when Hope lost his NBC contract after like 70 years or something.
Yeah,
is how long NBC had him under contract. That he had to tell jokes, and he would have
he would go to Bob's Big Boy.
Close. He would go to the Burbank Airport.
Yeah, he would go by the Bob's Big, just walk up and down the Bob's Big Boy.
Oh, you were telling the truth. He
would go to the Bob's Big Boy in Toluca Lake because it was right around the corner from his house.
Oh, see that I never heard. And just to tell people who work there jokes.
Yeah.
Because see, the story I heard was that he would have his driver take him to the Burbank Airport, and he would go to the rent-a-car section and tell all the rent-a-car people walk by telling jokes.
It is the Bob Hope Airport.
Who books that?
Yeah. The Bob Hope Airport where it has a sign at security that says no jokes. It says no jokes.
Look at the disdain on that face.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God. Look at that.
Oh yeah.
Why are you alive?
Oh man.
What year is that?
94.
94, man. Man, oh man. So he was, there were just some, there are some people who just, they have, and
I'm still wearing the same size jeans. Why?
Hey,
because I have an eating disorder.
Hot yoga.
They have hot yoga at Ghislaine Maxwell's new prison. Just we're talking about it.
It looks like hot yoga.
We are coming up on the end of the hour. So let's see, before we get out of here, anything you want to plug, Gene? Anything coming up you want to mention?
I have Laugh Factory in Covina Saturday, and I'm at Spotlight 29 Casino on Friday in Palm Springs.
I love Palm Springs.
Woo!
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Cool.
All right, Dana, where are you?
I'm going to be at the Punchline in San Francisco, November 20th, 21st, and 22nd.
Oh, awesome. I'll come on
all
over.
my Bay Area pals.
Yeah, man.
I have gigs between them, but I'm being geographically close. And Cathy and I should be doing something again soon.
You should do.
Yeah, let's talk after the pod.
Let's do that.
And Cathy, where can we come and see you?
My band, the Mrs. Bill Larsons, will be playing Slim's Last Chance Saloon on Saturday night, the 11th, for all my Seattle area fans listening. Podcast.
Is there a Slim's in Seattle now too? Or was there always?
Yeah.
They affiliated with down here?
No, it's a different Slim's.
What do you play?
I'm a vocalist. We do all 60s girl group stuff. I'm one of 3 vocalists with a 8-piece.
It's fantastic. I've seen the band and they're lovely.
So like the Ronettes and
that kind of
stuff. Oh, this is like fun.
Yeah.
And yet the only thing they have different from those classic girl groups is none of them have been held at gunpoint in Phil Spector's house. But outside of that, they've got it all.
Cathy Sorbo, Dana Gould, Gene Pompa, thank you very much for being with us. Come back to me again, huh?
Thank you, sir.
All right, that's going to do it for this week. If you like what it is that you saw, if you watch us on YouTube, then please subscribe, like and subscribe. If you're listening to us over the audio version of the podcast, please go to your podcast provider and give us a 5-star review as well as subscribe. The 5-star review helps people to find the show. So I will check you out next week. Till then, be kind to your neighbor. He knows where you live.